Good morning. It's Tuesday, February 7th, and today I want to talk about a popular social media app that allows users to create and share 15-second videos shot on mobile devices. That app is called TikTok, and TikTok is somewhat under attack right now in the United States and in probably other countries because of the collection of data and the number of people that use it. And primarily in this country it's being used by young people, teenagers and everything. I have never used TikTok. I wouldn't know how to go about it, although I'm sure it's pretty easy to learn. So it's a social media platform that is used for creating and sharing and discovering short videos. And that's a wonderful thing for young people to be doing. But there's 100 million users in the United States. And the data that they have put out there in space can be captured. And the primary concern that people are having with TikTok is the information that's being collected by the company called ByteDance, a Chinese company. China itself has banned the primary TikTok for use in its own country. It has a special version of TikTok. So there's no evidence right now that ByteDance, which is collecting all this information about U.S. citizens and whatever, has ever given any of this information to the Chinese government. But that's what's sitting in the minds of many people in this country. China could get their hands on lots of information about people in the United States. And that seems in the minds of many to create some form of national security threat. Now I myself, as I've said before, I've never used TikTok. I've seen a few videos, of course, somehow or other, but not by anybody that sent them to my phone or anything like that. So I think this is a serious problem, and I think the United States is struggling with this problem, struggling immensely with this problem. And they are considering a ban of TikTok of some kind, some shape or form. But a ban would ultimately put our national security probably at greater risk. Because the minute you ban it, then people are going to start looking for information. So right now we have failed to address the concerns over the huge amount of personal data collected in our digital lives. Forget about TikTok. I mean, there's so many people using digital devices that there's a lot of information out there. And that information could, of course, be used by foreign adversaries. In fact, as I said before, China has prohibited everything from Google to Twitter. And in fact, it doesn't allow U.S. newspapers to be read in China, specifically the New York Times. Now, this puts us in a tenuous position because we don't want to really upset China, even though we know they're our adversaries. And let's also remember that China is the second largest investor in the U.S. economy. They own $1 trillion worth of our bonds. That's no small amount. So we have a situation here where the heads of the FBI and our other spy agencies fear that the Chinese government will force TikTok's owner, ByteDance, to hand over extensive personal information on all of the TikTok users, American users, and demand that it push disinformation. Now, why is this thing taking such a critical turn? Well, I'm looking at the balloon that we just shot down. That could cause China to take actions that haven't dreamed of taking before, or that they have put on the shelf. So we have TikTok in a vulnerable situation. The company is owned by China. And China, as a retaliation against the balloon shoot down, could start looking to get ByteDance to give them the information. Now, we in the United States have recognized the fact like that. And previously, we had approached ByteDance to buy them, to own ByteDance, so that we could protect all this data that they're collecting. But that's not happening. ByteDance refused our offer. And then we went and offered that ByteDance operate its system from within the United States. They should set up an operations center here for American users, right? Sort of isolating the application from the outside world. But ByteDance has refused to do that too. So all this information is being collected by ByteDance, and the information on the users, the U.S. users, is sitting out there in a vulnerable situation in the minds of many U.S. officials. So just think about this. Now, this hasn't happened yet, but this could happen. It's easy to recognize that China could commandeer the powerful, influential app to affect elections or manipulate public opinion. China could do this. And 2 out of 3 American teenagers have used it. So disinformation on the app could be particularly potent, especially to the teenage impressionable audience. But it could affect elections. There's no better evidence of why a government might fear the app's insidious nature than the fact that TikTok is banned in China itself. But the Chinese government lets ByteDance use limited domestic version of the app that's explicitly subject to state censorship. So they, in China itself, are managing what their people see on this app. But the rest of the world is not like that. The rest of the world sees whatever they want to see, as far as I know, on that app. So what is to prevent China from taking that application and using it to send out misinformation? I mean, we just shot down a spy balloon that they claim was just a weather device. So don't put this aside that TikTok is just an app. It's a very dangerous app. And I know how dangerous the collection of information on people and using that information. I know how dangerous it is when people collect information about people and use that information for their own purposes. I did that for many years for my business customers who would collect data on their customers and then use that data to help sell more merchandise to them. Not a serious problem, but if you start using information to the detriment of the country, to change the thinking on elected officials, etc., you're playing a dangerous game. And that's where TikTok sits in this thing. They have all this information. Now, true, it's on the adolescents, but that doesn't mean you can't project that information to how the adult population would react to certain things. So this is a serious problem. I don't have an answer. So we'll have to see how this plays out. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.